one of the biggest challenges for us as entrepreneurs, people who are trying to create new, move forward, create momentum, and make a greater contribution, is that so many of us focus on the wrong thing at the wrong time. And we don't actually get the help we need to create momentum. We don't actually see what we need next to move forward. I created the Billionaire Code really by reverse engineering the success of the people who I read about and who I met that either influenced billions, changed the lives of billions, or made billions. In my career, I've worked with a lot of billionaires, and in one way or another, and it's interesting how similar they really are. And when we start studying their path to success, it's interesting how similar it is. But it's not just the path to success for billionaires, it's the path to success for you, because so often when we are focused on the wrong thing and we fail to create momentum, we start doubting our ability to make decisions. We can self-destruct, we can self-sabotage. And I want to help you understand, first, the path to success, but make sure that you also understand what is needed at each point to help you get to the next level. Because here's the biggest challenge for most people like us, is that over time, our desire to make a contribution, our desire to make change, to do something different, to create something new in the world, increases. It goes up. And the challenge for most of us is that our desire to make a greater contribution is much greater than the infrastructure we have in our lives right now. And so it's the gap between where we can get and where we want to be that creates this dissatisfaction for people like us. It creates the challenges we feel. It takes us out of momentum. And it's frustrating to have that gap. And if we can focus on the infrastructure we need at any given time, we close the gap. We never completely close it, but we can narrow it down like crazy, and that's what makes us feel momentum, when we know we're actually moving towards the contribution we want. So I want to share with you the Billionaire Code, which is 9 levels of entrepreneurial success. It's 9 levels of where we are as an entrepreneur and how we really create momentum. And it starts with something that's not even on this chart. It starts with the crowd. Here's what I mean by that. You know, there's a whole world out there that doesn't want to be an entrepreneur. There's a whole world out there that wouldn't even look at something called the Billionaire Code. In fact, there's a whole world out there that refers to successful people as part of the 1%, and it's not a compliment. And so the crowd is completely different. It's the rest of the world. And if you're watching this and you're in this room, you've already decided you're not part of that crowd. You're not going to conform to how everybody else does it. And what happens is an entrepreneur raises their hand, they step out of the crowd, and they become a seeker. The first level, and just to show you some numbers, in the United States, the number of businesses that make $0 to $40,000 a year is 16 million. There's 24 million businesses in the United States. 16 million make $0 to $40,000 a year. They're seeker businesses. It's contractors. It's people whose business, you know, especially at $0 to $40,000, is really erratic. It's incredibly difficult, and it's 16 million. The seeker needs to understand themselves better, get their stuff together, and to graduate, you decide what you want to do, and you know you're confident enough to tell everyone. If you download the PDF, it's much easier to follow along, because what I want you to do is identify where you are in this progression, because then you'll understand exactly what you need to do next. To graduate, or the question that the seeker is asking is, how do I stop pressure and noise? That's the primary question, because when you don't know where you should go next to create momentum is the noisiest state for people like us. And when you're in that seeker stage, you don't actually know what you want to do. You don't have clarity around what to do. That's where, for people like us, it can make us panicky and make us anxious. In fact, if at any time we lose momentum, we can feel those things, but when we don't have clarity, it gets that much more challenging. In the seeker stage, we don't know what team we're going to be on. We don't have a team. Our time is dabbling in that 0 to 40,000 or in this seeker stage when you don't have clarity. Usually you're doing a lot of different stuff for a lot of different people, or your activities aren't that consistent because it's not creating the same result over and over again. And your focus is, or should be, on self-identity and who you're going to serve. Because if you figure out the person you can sell to, everything else gets easier. The next level of the Billionaire Code is starter. And here's what's interesting. In each level, and I'll let you know up front, and I'll repeat it a couple more times, but in each level, what got you to the previous level is going to hurt you if you keep doing that same thing moving forward. In fact, these transitions for us are almost full transitions as we grow a business, as we scale our contribution. Each one, we change almost all our behavior. Let me show you.